Radio, the future of radio and podcast. No limit to what we do.
Access Radio, WIAX, the future of radio and podcast. No limit to what we do.
Male celebrity vocal coach right here, and I am a part of Give It Life.
And ratchet, we
And
bringing
real extra ratchet, raunchy.
That'll be everywhere, like.
What we got coming up? Those shops is upstairs, but we down here by also, man. This nigga got hit to walk off the set. We leave that up to Vito.
Girl, it's been a while since I told you I love you, and it's been a while since I made up for all the times I did you wrong. You know I get so busy, and you sticking with me is something that I don't wanna forget. Knowing, girl, I'm gonna show you how much I love you. How much I need you, I want you to know that I appreciate you sometimes. I don't know how to say it, girl.
What's the best way to tell you I love you without falling flat? More flowers and cards, you got a ton of that. More trips up the coast, maybe with a toast. You see I'm putting in time, really need to vote. Head full of these words, only want to quote. I choose you over the gold, that's an end quote. What I don't say, I attempt to show. On a journey through night, I'm guided by your glow. So best when you check yes over no. Have a question how I'm feeling, ain't no letting go. Center of my world, you a living pearl. Say it to the world like I do to you. When I can't find the words, it be getting tough. You put a hold on the time when I get a touch. Get your mind out the gutter, I don't mean that. On this page I write facts and I know that.
It's been a while since I told you I love you, and it's been a while since I made up for all the times I did you wrong. You know I get so busy, and you sticking with me is something that I don't wanna forget. Knowing, girl, I'm gonna show you how much I love you, how much I need you. I want you to know that I appreciate you sometimes. I don't know how to say it, girl.
Most of the time I'm too focused on the grind to even let our home problems cross my mind. I knew I should have took a step back from my rhymes, but I thought dollar signs and half naked dimes. That really was vibes, it never was true.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I got a
Yes, y'all. Welcome back. It's Saturday, and this is Behind Enemy Lines. Yes, you know what it is on our Access Radio. Shout out to Don Cherry over in the building. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Reggie, aka King of Paddles. Please make sure y'all tag, share, and pass this on. You know why?
Yes.
It's Saturday. It's 5 to 7. Ain't nothing moving in the city except Behind Enemy Lines. I am your host, Gatekeeper, and this is my partner in crime, Wiz 2.0. Nah. This is Kaya NYC, but shout out to Wiz. You know, he's making it do what it is. I told you, he got fined for last show. You know what I'm saying? All that Dallas Cowboy stuff. And see, this is what happens. When the league playing, we ain't playing with you, John Moran. We ain't playing over here. You get suspended, you get replaced. And that's what happened. He got a full head of hair. He got a beard. And he's saying he's not trying to play around with y'all. I ain't even shaved today with that type of energy going on around here. So shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Kaya, tell them where they can find us at, Kaya.
We on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Boxcast, LinkedIn, Apple TV, Fire TV, Instagram, and StreamYard.
Yo, make sure y'all ain't got no reason to not be watching right now, all right? So I don't want to hear that. Make sure you share the live, tell people what's going on. And you know, I told him, Kaya, when you was here, I said all 2023 we was gonna be bringing the drama, right?
That's a fact.
So why stop now? F the elemental is in the building. Like when you elemental, it's raining outside. The elements is in tune. You know what I'm saying? We've been all crazy with all this, global warming and all that. We're gonna level that out today. We're gonna get everything right. So if you are not in tune right now, I don't know what to tell you. But also, listen, they say, I access radio. What's the radio part about? Well, if you go to the Live 365, you might know. If you go to the TuneIn app, you might know. We got music rotating 24/7. We got some of the dopest DJs in the world playing all types of music. So make sure y'all doing that. That's why it's I Access Radio. You know what I'm saying? We do podcasts and music. Where you gonna get all that at in one spot, man? You can't stop acting like you don't know what's going on. Okay, so we got the elemental in the building, and it's going to be explosive, everything you're going to learn, because sometimes it's not about what you taking from a situation, it's what you giving back. And that's why I wanted this gentleman on the show, and we'll get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be dope. So we got 3 segments that we got popping off. Of course, about 6:15 we got the wild card that's happening. Now the wild card is open to y'all as well as it is to us, but it's mainly for y'all. Even in the chat, or you can call in 347-708-0216. Where's you say it again? So I'm gonna say it again. 347-708-0216. And you can have a wild card topic. That means me and Kaya can be talking about any type of things we talking about, but you might want to talk about how the Yankees been struggling. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that. Shout out to Nicole Carr. She's in the building. She said 2 of my favorite guys. Much love. We appreciate you and thank you for all you've done for us. Listen, if you ain't heard a single, you don't know what you're missing, man. Her and J High went in on that. So, Nicole, we want you to put that in the chat as well, so let everybody know your single is at and where they can get it. It's just a beautiful song, man. Shout out to everything you do for a lot of artists from Edo to be exact. Right. So we appreciate you. So we got the wild card happening at 6:15. And then Kai, at 6:30, we got the pressure check. We from New York. I mean, you got Scarlett telling niggas back the fuck up. So I think we started it first over here with the pressure check. You know what I'm saying? So we should get a little cut off that check. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody in the Bronx reach out to me, man. I think she got the idea from behind the enemy line. But anyway, what the pressure check is a segment when we randomly call 2 people, man. And we got one of yours, we got one of mine, and we ask them about the topics that we talking about, because just maybe I got it wrong and they're going to learn, man. People like to learn me anyway. What about you?
All the time.
All the time, right? So that's what we're going. So we got the press check at 6:30, and then you see Chucky on the table, so you know what it is. For all independent artists, it's not hard. This is our give back to you. I know what it is to be an independent artist, and shout out to the Elemental that's in the building, because he was on Chucky's Cut. You know what I mean? So not only did he participate through Chucky's Cut, he's in the building, ladies and gentlemen. That could be you. Oh, it's free, guys. It costs you no money. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, I'm blessed because I got 2 guys that actually was contributors to, Chucky's Cut. And, they both made the cut. So they're going to be on the mixtape that's coming up. So that's what Chucky's Cut is about. And you know that as well, Kai. So BHL Family 52. You can email us MP3s. You know what I'm saying? Tell us who you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't want your bio. I don't want none of that. Just the artist name, title of the song. And, hey, you get a chance to keep it cutting. You know what I'm saying? And it's not up to me. It's not up to Kaya. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we might vote. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to the people. It's up to the public. So they get the vote to keep it killed. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we got those 3 segments. We're going to have some topics for y'all. Ill topics. You know what I'm saying? One we got to touch from last time that we were talking about. If I listen to your playlist, you know what I'm saying? Would that tell me what kind of partner you would be? Okay, that's one. And then we got another one. Shout out to Vocals by Jamel. She's in the building. Another dope female singer that y'all need to get, man. Bottom of the bottle. I think I'm gonna
need some work.
Yeah, I need some work. Yeah, she got some work. She got some work. And then we got another topic that we're gonna touch on. Do men stick with a female while they're trying to better themselves? So we're gonna get onto that a little bit later. Shout out to God, Jazzy Rainey, my uncle in the building. He's on his vacation in Jamaica on his way, and he's tuning in. That's what support looks like, ladies and gentlemen. So Kaya, you ready to find out what the Elemental is about?
I'm ready. When I first read the name, I was like, Elemental, that's higher thinking, higher learning. Like, you about to go above our heads. So I'm really intrigued. I'm ready to rock and roll.
That's why I had to tap into another educator to make sure if I get stuck in the thesaurus, he can keep the conversation going while I'm trying to figure out what we're talking about. So we're going to cut to a video right now and one of his tracks so y'all can know, you know what I'm saying, why he's in the building. Title of the video is Still Here. And once again, share the live. Tell people that we're here. Get ready for y'all wild card. And ladies and gentlemen, don't be afraid. Whatever the wild card you want to put in. And the topics that we got, listen, they always saying that the man don't stick around, a woman try to do her thing. We're going to find out today. Video coming up now, ladies and gentlemen.
Say nothing to me.
Don't say a thing.
You can't.
Cause your mouth is moving.
Ha. We ain't going nowhere. This is ours. Now get your hand out my pocket.
We still surviving in the era of the demons, fighting the game rights through the system, but he's scheming, enticing men to murder men, falsifying freedom so they can enslave us. These wicked Europeans acquire land and property with slave profits, visual insane optics, control the main markets, so all of us could come back to them. The murderers created the constitution and tax system, sharecropping, they don't care, drop them. People buy into the plan, they can't stop them. The minds are not inclined to find the truth is not an option, so a pistol to the back of the dome is what's popping. That's how it is in the land of the murderers. Speak truth and the people start deserting you. Fighting for freedom, that line is a joke. The true agenda is disguised behind the mirrors of smoke.
You're not gonna do us nothing. Not trying, but still trying. No, not lie, we not trusting. Only rooted in Zion. That's why we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We still here, everybody. We still here.
Here's some history about us to help dispel the mystery. Mistreated by the sociopaths caused the misery. So-called nobles through high-tech imagery, painted as good men, propaganda trickery. I'm sick of hearing of American forefathers who raped our women and old slaves with people across the back. Made them work long days, fed them bad food, they never got paid. While the demons kept all the cash, made enough to expand, built up a stash for generations to come. It's all about class, but the title of classless is what they amass. Oppression is a sin, expressing it to them might cost your life. We fight for freedom, freedom to think and choose without the demons' rules. Let's supplement the lessons our children learn in schools.
You're not gonna do us nothing. Not trying, but still trying. No, not lie, we not trusting. Only rooted in Zion. That's why we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We still here, everybody. We still here.
Drapetomania, insane they label you. Never let a demon describe you. Besides, dude, what's wrong with trying to escape from a trap? The people under his control want to bring you right back, so they can live off your energy again. Their progeny is running the show. You pay rent to them. Landlords, tycoons, and icons preaching to the people let bygones be bygones. While they continue to live rich, we live poor. They apologize, so don't expect them to give more. Besides, slavery was written into law, so the judges in the courts were only acting like the devil's horse. America's one big contradiction. You can find the truth if you set a path and listen, and see why perspectives based on position make your reality match your inner vision.
You're not gonna do us nothing. Not trying, but still trying. No, not lie, we not trusting. Only rooted in Zion. That's why we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We still here, everybody. We still here. My pocket.
Yeah, these are legendary. The controllers of mankind right now, legendary. Master manipulators of religion, knowledge, and information, legendary. So we can all be slaves and servants. When true evil controls the people, the masses cry for justice and freedom. When people are oppressed, we rush to go freedom. Anytime's the right time, it's in season. The war of good and evil is so damn deceiving. Kill off the innocent just to get even. Call them enemies for what they believe in, and take their oil, manufacture the reason. Freedom of speech, but don't disagree. What about the evil that built this here country? And what about its long-term effects? The theft, the property, the disrespect. You look the other way cause you cast a check. Got a big peace sign tatted across the neck. 50 millimeters of force is on deck, looking for restitution that I haven't seen yet. These individuals who stole and took what they wanted will never be brought to justice because the system they created got us chasing our tails, running around in circles and circles. So we never ask for justice, and they can keep the things they stole from us. Legendary. The mission: corrupt all religions, dumb down the people, invest in prisons. If you believe in the God, change your position. Anything they could do to make your decisions fall in their favor. Cash is your savior, but it's the same thing they use to enslave you. Backed by faith, but ain't worth the paper. They use the print on modified behavior. We do strange things for cash, act like a coon for money, no class. The music industry will corrupt you so fast that by the time you notice, your time has passed. Pose a threat, poverty or death. They say it's the same thing all in one breath. But to escape poverty, you could take steps. When you're dead, there really ain't nothing else left. And these same people made weapons of mass destruction to protect the things they stole. So no one can ever rise to power the same way they have. While we just run around with a veil over our eyes and something plugged in our ears, we can't see or hear truth when it comes because we're blind, deaf, and dumb. A glimmer of light in the depths of the dark. We are one with the force and sing with the art. We are the inspiration who created a spark by expressing all the pain that's contained in our hearts. Don't care about fame or a place in the charts. When facing the barricade, we break it apart. You can't win a race if you fail to start. And an aptitude for evil doesn't mean that you're smart. You suffer from a character flaw, and if they don't fix it soon, we might have to bury them all. Cause the wicked can't rule over righteous people. The world fell victim to greed and evil, so we create a proper looking glass to see through. The plans of the amoral man are lethal when it starts by eliminating fans to speak to, reducing your intelligence so we can't reach you. And now, all that needs to be said has already been said. It's time for us to turn around and walk away from the things that enslave us. This false culture, the drugs, the alcohol, the poor behavior. We must take charge and take possession of our destinies. Legendary. Yeah, it seems so simple. But how many of us will stand up and take responsibility for our actions and become the people we were meant to be? My history didn't start in chains, and it will not end there.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, F the Elemental is in the building. If you missed the video, then you might want to just stop and go back and rewatch that. And if you missed that song, then you might want to just pause and go back and hear that again so you can really, I told you all 2023 we was bringing it, and you can see by that energy, by that delivery, that's why I loved hip hop as I started, getting into it as an artist. You know what I mean? I heard Public Enemy, I heard KRS-One, I heard Black Thought. And the funny thing about it, when I met this young man, don't let the hat fool you, young man. When I met this young man, it was through a show, Kaya. I went to a podcast, you know what I'm saying? We'll get to that in a minute, through our lens that he's also a host of with my brother Dom. Shout out to Dom. And quiet, behind the scenes camera guy, you know what I'm saying? And then after the show's over, it's me, my uncle, and Dom, we talking, and then he just chimes in quietly, oh yeah, I know about that. Oh yeah, I know about that. Oh yeah, I know a little bit about this. And so I said, for real, I gotta see what you got going on. And now you guys see it. The Elemental is in the building. Welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. Harlem Zone, you know what I'm saying? Let's not forget about that. Harlem is in the building. Stand up, you know what I'm saying? If you repping over there, Harlem is in the building.
Harlem born and bred.
Before we get too deep, you know what I'm saying? I want to talk about that video. Whose concept that was? How did you wind up going away? Who's the young man that was in the video? And how did you swing that? Because I love that whole concept, get your hands out of my pocket, it took me to Harlem. I felt like Malcolm X. I felt like I saw that scene happening all over again. But it was just a whole message in the song. That is what's missing, I feel like, in today's music. But go to, you know what I'm saying, our Behind the Enemy Lines, our action show, or 365, you get a mix like that. It's that balance, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta get the fuck back and then get your hands out my pocket. Yeah. I need that balance again, back in music, back in hip hop. So tell us a little bit about the video and everything that had to do with that.
So that concept of We Still Here, it was my concept. So when I write songs, I write them to a visual. So I see the visual first, right? And then I start writing my lyrics. So the term "get your hand out my pockets" actually refers to the IRS taxing Black people because we was already victimized through slavery, and now you got us paying tax to you.
Give it to
you know what I'm saying? So,
give it to
and I went through a stint. I don't know if you ever heard about it, but the Moors. I studied with the Moors and stuff, and we were talking about certain things, and some of us didn't pay tax, and the IRS locked down. So I had like a 10-year battle with them. So I'm like, how can you still tax people you subjugated and enslaved? And you basically stole everything from. So that line, "get your hands out my pocket," I initially had an idea of somebody in an Uncle Sam outfit reaching, and you kind of like shove them off like real hard, and you catch a slow-mo. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't do that.
I wish you could have done that.
I couldn't do it.
The sad thing about it is it hits on multiple. So we talk about Jay-Z with triple and double entendres. That video and that concept alone just gave you a whole different aspect of, well, get your hands on my pocket. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm feeling that. Yeah. Ever since COVID, you know what I'm saying? It seems like every time I climb up in a position, it's a penalty for growing. You know what I mean? Kaya, how you feel about that? You know, the taxes is just getting, I can't live, I can't survive. So I'm feeling that.
The more you make, the more they take. So it's just like, sheesh.
So how we gonna live?
It's a scam. So I'm gonna tell you why I call it a scam, because everybody talks about, oh, you gotta contribute. The wealthiest people in this country pay the least amount of taxes.
I heard about that.
So the more you make, the more they take. That's for us, right? Mm-hmm. We trying to get out the bottom basement level, and we trying to get to middle class, right? And there's all of these roadblocks because, contrary to popular belief, we hear all these things. We talk about the Constitution. Yo, it's the worst document ever. I'm going to say that.
Tell us why. Tell us why.
People won't come at me.
But this is why I had to have him on the show. If y'all would have been at their show through our lens, and don't forget your statement, the conversation that was happening behind the scenes between him and my uncle, and as a younger guy, I look up to y'all talk because y'all talk actual facts that y'all lived and been a part of it. Mm-hmm. So it's a different dynamic, because when I started going to school, there wasn't too many elders that were still in the household that passed down why you feel about certain ways. So when I get caught in that tug of war moment of going to the left or going to the right, hearing y'all talk was amazing. So go ahead, give it to us.
Yeah, so in the Constitution, they have certain things they haven't ratified, like the 3/5 clause. We are still considered 3/5 of a person. They didn't ratify that. They just, they say, oh, everybody has these rights. But when the Constitution was formed, it was for white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, males, right? Women didn't have the right to vote, and slaves didn't have the right to take a slave master to court for anything, right? So people say, oh, it's such a great document. If a document got to tell you that you have rights, I don't think it's that great, because they say born with inalienable rights that's not listed in this writing. So if I have inalienable rights, I don't need to put it on paper. I just have it, right?
Entitled to it.
So people put these things in writing, and then because I'm a college professor, so I teach in college,
education,
right? I teach cybersecurity, but I tie this into my cybersecurity, and I'm saying to them, there's a difference between law and how law is carried out. That's why we have two systems in this country. If you Caucasian, if you have the complexion for the, you have the right complexion.
Complexion for the connection. That's
so you got it, right? The complexion for the connection. If you have that, the laws apply to you differently than if you are somebody who is undesirable. So this is my, I'm going to give people going to hate me for this. Some people will. No, I'm unapologetically black.
I'm unapologetically we protected black. Over here. We got a security team and all that. Say what you want to say, man.
So the thing is, the Constitution is actually a document that allows the continuance of the initial robbery, right? Because they have this thing and they call the ex post facto law. That means you can't sue me for something that happened in the past. So once they knew that slavery was not going to be able to continue,
hold on, Kai. You try to slide that by. So they got Bill Cosby for back in the day, but we can't get them.
Right. So ex post facto law came into play because they knew that the slaves, they were not going to be able to keep us slaves forever, and they knew they was going to be flooded with lawsuits. So they put this in the Constitution that says you can't sue us. And this is why we have this conversation about reparations, but they're like, yo, we don't got to give it because of this ex post facto law. You can't punish me for stuff that happened in the past. Right? So it's like a clean slate. So it's like, and I'm gonna say this way because I say controversial things. So a murderer and a rapist could do stuff, and then they say, "Oh, you can't call me a murderer and a rapist. You can't do that, right? Because this law right here says you can't do that." So they stacked the deck. Before we was removed, before we were allegedly free, which we were not free for slavery. So let me tell you what happened. Slavery went from individual ownership to ownership of the state. That's why they built the prisons, to make slaves. It says, in the 13th, it says, America no longer practice slavery except for punishment for a crime. That's the exact words.
That's the exact word. And see, don't jump down too far, ladies and gentlemen, because that's why the name of his show is called Through Our Lenses. You got Through Our Lens. See, this is, Reggie says, what does it mean when the law is or is not ratified? We're going to get to that question, hold that question. Because we're going to tap into the interview. But I'm telling you, 2023, we are Behind the Enemy Lines, if you don't know, is a show. We're talking about relationships from the men's point of view, but we don't exclude the ladies. This is another part of being in a relationship, is being educated on what's going on in front of you, in you, and behind you, and how it's affecting you. And it's crazy because I have a 26-year-old, and one time I asked her, she's about 12 years old, 13 years old. No matter of fact, she was in high school somewhere. And I said, do you still think there's a ceiling, you know what I'm saying, on us black folks? And she was like, no, I can do whatever I want to do, and I can be wherever I want to be, and I can have whatever I want. But I was trying to tell them that the ceiling is still there.
Yeah.
And we have to work so much more to get past it. So we're going to get back to that in a minute. But
I want to just jump in on that, what you just said, because I love the young ones' optimism.
Shout out to Wizzy in the building.
I love young people's optimism because they don't have the fear and they don't have the psychological limitation, even though you and I know that there's a ceiling. See, they don't. So they don't operate like there's a ceiling. They operate like they could be president. And I love that about them. So I encourage that, but I want to pull their coattails and say, watch out for the trap on the 26th floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why it was important to have that mix in the music, because it blended everything that was going on. So right now, like I said, I love the new track that's out there. Everybody's playing, you know what I'm saying, XYZ, but I kind of don't want to hear my girl talk like that. It's kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want, she said, and not to knock her. I love her. I would love the interview. I love the song. The energy and everything is right, but that song is going to carry a lot of people in the wrong direction. You understand what I'm saying? Because once again, it goes back to our women not even being able to be approachable. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be another topic that we won't get to. Let's get back into the elemental.
I got a question about the video myself, right? So the first when I watched it the other day, the first thing I noticed was you was in the projects.
Yes.
So I want to know, are you from the project?
Yes, St. Nick.
St. Nick.
I came from St. Nick Project. I don't live there now, but I grew up in St. Nick Project, 129th Street, 240. That was the building I lived in. Not too far from Rex and Effect and Teddy Riley's building. They was 2 buildings down. I grew up. I saw a whole lot. I experienced a whole lot. So first, so that was actually 2 blocks from my house, that project. And that was a hallway. Right? That was this hallway in the project, right? I used to work for Nitro too.
Okay, we project baby.
The
we
project's
recognize
looking
the
real
bricks.
good right
We know those bricks.
We know those bricks.
He's in the project. Yeah, I was in the project. Yeah, that's it.
The question I have for you regarding that is, how do you think the projects and growing up there has influenced your outtake on music and how you think now?
It wasn't just a project, but I could tell you that a lot of the people who was my age are dead now that I know, right? And that's hard, right? Because you ball with them. I used to play basketball. You ball with them, and you see them in the drug game. You know, brothers hustling, and they're all gone. You know what I'm saying? So
history.
That's one thing that affected me. The violence. I saw a lot of violence, like lots of violence, and it formulated, like when I heard KRS-One spit, when I heard certain people, just the same people you was naming, man. I got a list of people, and I love hip hop. Like I'm hip hop, right? And hearing KRS-One, hearing Pete Rock, CL Smooth, hearing all these dudes, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, MC Light. I gotta always say their name because, like in my top 10, Queen Latifah and MC Light's in my top 10.
I feel you on that. They dope.
You gotta give them their credit, right? But you hear this consciousness, right? Hip hop was like the CNN for the hood.
Yes, I can agree with that.
People was rhyming about stuff that was happening, right? That was like good or bad, whatever the story. G-Rap had some story. Everybody has some stories. I listen to all these people, right? And I'm like, man, what if I decided to become an artist who talked about deep things that you never hear in hip hop, like you don't really hear it, right? And I so this is not my first project I did, right? I was rhyming for a long time, right? DMC competitions, I was there. I met MC Light there. She took me, she introduced me to Ice Cube and everybody. And what I realized in the industry was that
shout out to Veronica, she's in the building.
No doubt. I realized that when I was saying stuff, either people were scared, because I've been rhyming like this since the jump. Like this is all I rhyme about, like the stuff I'm rhyming about. And I study. I have books. I have rare books that cost like $5,000. I have these books that tells you the history of who people are, who your actual tribe is, which nobody's gonna say, but I studied this stuff. Right. So I'm like, I want to put this in a rhyme. So there's a song on my album called Psalms of the Ghetto. I read the book of Psalms and then wrote the song. So it's heavy. It's like, yea, do I walk through the valley of the wicked, blessed with the universal truth, I spit it. Because the people reject the message and the messenger, replace the lessons with lies from the sorcerers. So I'm breaking it down.
Reflect the message.
So I read and then I write. Or I have this visual and then I write. So I'm like, how could I take these things that's in my head? Because I have a lot of information in my head. I met a lot of people. I lived a life, right? How can I put that in a rhyme for a young person to hear it and know the trap is around the corner? Don't go there.
We need that balance. We need more music like that being spent. So
and for the young guy, I just want to tell you, but for the young guy in the video, I was doing a after school program I was working in. He was one of the kids in this group I had called Man Cave. And I bought him that suit. I bought him his first suit. That was his first suit, his first shoes. Bought him for that to do the video. I paid him to do the video.
Paid, ladies and gentlemen.
So my concept with the young man is sometimes we're gonna have to be taught by young people. That's why I had him in the class teaching.
No, and I like that whole concept. And really, like I said, for people that don't know, music was like number 10 on the list after we started talking behind the scenes of why I wanted you on my show. And we're gonna get to that in a minute, because the biggest thing that I appreciate about you and the thing I really stuck out about me was your give back and what you're doing. So that was one of the main things. So just seeing that we have music in common, it's like a big stream that kind of ties people together. But when you stop for a second and dig a little bit deeper, you know what I mean? People are always running about the takeaway. What am I taking? To have somebody that's giving something back, you know what I'm saying, to the community, giving that young man an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, even open my eyes even more to everything else that you're doing in Harlem that we're gonna get to in a minute.
All right.
So let's jump in the Rolodex for a minute and tell the people some of the different hats that you wear, so we can open up certain things for you.
Some of the different hats. So I've been a youth mentor for a very long time, a scoutmaster for over 10 years.
Scoutmaster.
Boy Scout Master. Took him out to the woods, teach him how to survive, how to shoot guns, how to hunt, how to, just having conversations with them and helping develop young people, because we don't do that enough. We criticize them a lot, right? I believe this is the hardest time to exist in right now. I believe that because the assault of media is so strong, and the effects of, like, the oppressors have perfected oppression. Now it's perfected. All they gotta do is keep throwing you videos and your feed. Your time is shot. You're gone. You're done. You're not going to accomplish a whole bunch.
Right.
These young people have to face that, right? So, Scoutmaster, college professor. I'm the TA president of the Tennis Association, where the Central Park 5 came from.
Yeah,
I've been there for 10 years. I'm politically active. I deal with candidates. Actually, I'm running for congressional committee right now. I'm on the ballot. I'm already on the congressional committee right now.
Congratulations.
So, politics. I'm into politics. for a purpose, and I'm not against female leadership, right? If you qualified, you should lead.
Right.
Period. It's based off your qualifications. A lot of people are funny about that, right? Because there's this oppression, right, that's happening with our people, and sometimes the oppressed can become the oppressor.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's common. Like if you treat somebody really, really, really bad, right, and they get older and they come to power, there's a high likelihood that they would do that. They would repeat it because now they have interest to protect. So people forget where they came from, right? They forget their struggle. So I came from a struggle. I came from a very messed up childhood, and I remember it. I'm never going to forget it. So if I see the kid flexing and acting like he all tough, I was that kid, right? So I'm like, yo, what's wrong? I give him a hug, break down crying.
Yeah, that's that.
That's probably his first hug he ever got in his life.
That's that deception.
My first hug was I was 18, so I could tell you, I remember it.
Yeah, I can't remember mine. You remember yours, Connie?
I could tell you I was 18. So I know what the struggle with some of these young people walk with. I know why certain men have certain behavior, certain women have certain behavior. They're looking for love. They're looking for this. They're looking for acknowledgement. Someone that say they exist. I've been through all of that, and I see it. So I'm the person that they would send the problem kids to because I know how to talk to them.
That's crazy. So after elemental was in the music, then you became a scout leader. Engineer, you ain't tell us about that.
I'm an audio engineer.
Audio engineer. What else you got?
Videographer.
Come on, give it to us.
Cybersecurity, digital forensics. I'm graduating with my master's this next week. Been teaching for 8 years at John Jay. The hacking classes, the programming classes, the general knowledge about computers. And I just try to give back because somebody did that for me. One person, his name is Wally. There's one person who saw me when I was a kid. He just took me and taught me all this stuff, all this electronics, all this stuff. And I'm like, why is this guy teaching me stuff and he ain't charging me nothing? It was weird because, I was the kind of kid, like I had to struggle, man. I'm gonna tell you, I had to eat at the trash can sometimes. I'm just being real with you.
As a kid, sharing that with us.
As a kid. So I know it's a whole different, I come from a whole different perspective, right? I had parents, but I didn't have parents who was present, who was aware, who did what typical parents do. So I had to learn a lot of stuff either on my own or kind of be a fly on the wall for somebody else, right? And now I'm trying to give it all away. Like I'm trying to give this knowledge away to anybody who want it because I know what it is to not know where your next meal is coming from.
And you know what's crazy, Kai? Can you read this one in a second? And you know what's crazy? I know you came from a big family as well. How many siblings?
Oh, 11.
11. So we had that in common. And literally, I'm gonna tell you how real this gentleman is, Kaya. That's the same exact line he said to me the first day I met him as we was helping clean up the equipment from the show that they was having. He said, XYZ is free. Anybody can come. And the guy never met me except for that one day and said, hey, you could come sign up for this and show up any other Saturday. And I've been trying to get down there whenever I'm not here. I'm trying to get down there, but I've been missing them as of lately. But when I went to SAE, it wasn't for free.
Right.
And to know and to not hear about this, like you said, hip hop used to be the CNN. You know what I'm saying? For us to learn what's going on. How is something like this not being projected for people to know that is going on? So we're gonna get to the programs that he's giving out for free, ladies and gentlemen. Engineering, audio engineering cost me almost $10,000 in debt. I'm still paying. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying you gotta always go the free route, but it's happy and the knowledge that I want to give out there and put out there because you learn from one person and want to give back. I did kind of the same thing. And now that I have this platform, we're not going to just forget about, my own Black and Brown that's going to educate you throughout the books and give you something that you can turn into a career. It's a beautiful thing. So the same exact word he said, Kaya, he said right here, that's how I know it's authentic. That's how I know it's real. Kaya, can you get that comment real quick?
Reggie said, I appreciate songs like that. More people would know and understand more if it were added to popular songs. That's a fact.
That's what's up. I faced a lot coming up in this industry. I went to a lot of the majors trying to get signed, and they all told me that the music was great for like 30-year-olds and older. But they was like, but the people who buy records is 14 and they don't care about none of this. So they were like, we would buy it for ourselves because it got a message. I'm like, but maybe you only know what's in front of your face. So it's the illusion of choice. And I tell people this, there's this in our life. It's called illusion of choice. And a lot of times we don't recognize it. But if I made a video game, right? My video game actually limits what you could do. You have to work within the world of my choices that I created. So you think you're doing something great in the game, but you've been limited.
Right.
Because I made the game and designed it with restricted choices. So that's life, right? We here in this country, we can't do certain things in this country. We have a harder time getting up the ladder. Politics, which is rigged. I'm telling you, is rigged because it is. And we think that these are our only options. You know, when I was growing up, it was selling drugs. Dudes was like, that's all I see, so that's all I'm gonna do. And I kind of bucked the grain and I said, nah, I'm not gonna do it. I had family members who did it, everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be, it was like, oh, you corny, you're always in school. Yeah, because I need to learn something. Right? Yo. So I'm going to school, I'm learning construction, I'm learning all this stuff. I learned all this stuff. There's tons of stuff I learned. I was a boiler mechanic for the city of New York. I was all of this stuff. So I'm like, I gotta keep money in my pocket somehow. So I needed to learn things that when it gets cold, I could do this kind of work. Warm, I could do that kind of work. So I just did that. But the people who stayed in the drug game, who passed away or have nothing to show for it, you know, I was like, y'all was calling me corny, and now we talking. Like, what's the next step? I helped somebody who was in the drug game. They was great at breeding dogs. I said, yo, open up a dog kennel. I told him how to do it. He went and set up his LLC. He got a dog kennel.
And you have an LLC as well, right?
I have an LLC and a 501c3.
Yeah, and tell them the name of your company.
So my company is called Earthquake Entertainment LLC, and I deal with podcasting, robotics. I teach kids robotics, programming, computer repairs for DOE. I work for MMCC in the Bronx. I teach there, you know, the young people podcasting, video stuff. And then I have a not-for-profit, which is the other arm of what I do. It's an educational component, because one of the things that made me walk different was when I learned who I am.
Learn who you are.
A lot of Black people is like, we slaves, and it stops there. So I used to get sent to the principal's office, because in history class, I would be like, but what were we before slaves? And my white history teacher would be like, you starting trouble, go to the principal's office. I was like, because we didn't start there. So I have one of my lines in my song. I said, my history didn't start in chains, and it will not end there. I know I was something before we were slaves. So learning the history is like, oh, okay, so I came from this. So I have a sense of pride and a connection, because a lot of us don't feel connected.
Yeah.
We think we're a new group. We African Americans. That's not a group, right? If you realize how the devil works, I'm going to say it that way. He tricks you because he names things after locations. But there was always tribes. Africa is a location, and America is a location. What was your tribal name? Because they're going to tell you they're going to tell you their tribal name. White people know it. They know their tribal, and they know our names too. But they're never going to tell us, because once we realize who we are, then we will act accordingly.
I never heard that concept. You know, that there was the tribes in America. You ever heard that, Kai?
No, I never heard that before either.
There's a book called Lost Tribes in the Promised Lands, A History of Racism in the Americas. That's the name of the book.
I know Kaya got a
Yeah, I got the book.
My mind. That's why I love talking to the elders that really be on their game, because, and I actually reached out to you about a book that I'm going to go pick up and start reading. So it's good, you know what I'm saying, to hear that, because we have some authors come along, and we try to do a book of the month, you know what I'm saying, every month, but I don't want to promote nothing until I read it myself.
There
so
you go.
I'm definitely into that.
I have a book club within my house. I have 3 children and my wife, 28 years married.
Congrats.
Very proud of that. And we circulate books throughout the house. You know, my children, I mean, they're not little children. We read, we talk about, we sit down every Sunday and we like, what did you read? Oh, I read it. What does that mean? Oh, boom, boom, boom. So, okay, we take our little notes.
He can't come to my house. My kids kick him out.
Because
they try to kick me out when I be talking like that.
We have to have education. So there's a line in the scripture that says, my people are destroyed due to a lack of knowledge because they reject it. They don't want it. So that's the mode we in right now.
The rejection mode.
The rejection mode. People don't want to know stuff.
Yeah.
They just want to believe something in some way and kind of force a round peg through a square hole. That's what they want to do. But once you realize that you burnt up a lot of your energy doing it, Then you got to sit down and go, oh, let me just read this now. Now you got to read it and figure out that, oh, you was doing it the hard way. If you have the knowledge of how to do it, guess what? You want to learn how to program a computer, you just don't get on there and start hitting the keys. You got to read the parameters of how programming works. Life works that way too.
And actually, that was like one of the first. And ladies and gentlemen, remember the lines are open 347-708-0216. If you want to call in and speak to F the Elemental, you can. Don't be afraid. He got all the answers. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. We told y'all we need the balance. So this is why we here. We will have some topics coming on in a minute. You know, the first thing that the teacher said in the first class I ever took for audio engineering, read the fucking manual. And do you know how simple that is? But I'm still fighting myself to do it. I still try to jump out. I'm guilty, but I'm trying to change. Go ahead, Kai. I know you got a question. Go ahead.
More of a statement, because I didn't really read books. Like, I got master's degrees and all that. I didn't read books until COVID. And I sat down and really picked up a book. I read Iceberg Slim Pimp. That's the first book I read cover to cover in my life.
Wow.
And it was like, once I picked that book up, now I'm just like absorb. To the point where I've changed the definition of ignorance. You know how the people say ignorance is just not knowing something that means you're ignorant.
Right.
I feel like ignorance is when you have the ability to learn it and refuse to do it.
I like that. Say that again.
good.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
When you have the ability to learn and you refuse to do it, that's ignorance.
You see why I have people like this in my friend circle now? Because it's pushing me to get to another level. And that's what we want to do at Behind the Enemy Lines. When we start talking to these gentlemen and even older men, because a lot of lessons have been missed at many different layers. You know what I mean? And we got to go back and start getting it right, especially for the fellas. This was messing
Reggie
up a lot of our
said-
relationships. 28 years? Come on, man.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
go.
dope.
Yeah,
I would say Reggie said, what's the name of the book? The name of the book is Lost Tribes in the Promised Land, The Origins of American Racism, Ronald Sanders.
Yes. So, and you said something interesting. You was like, because you know we come from a people of griots, right? Griots are storytellers, but it wasn't written. You have somebody singing and you have somebody acting. That's how we absorb stuff. Seeing it, and they have something called social learning theory, but seeing it and hearing it. That's how we learn, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's different modes of learning for people.
Right.
But getting into the books, Malcolm X says if you want to hide something from the Negro, put it in the book.
And you heard that.
Right. So I've always been an avid reader, and I've always read, you know, certain things. I used to read the comic books. I would read something, and then I'll be like, who came up with this concept? And what's the goal of this concept? And why are they making up their own world in cartoon form?
Right.
And what are they saying in this world of cartoon form? So I analyze everything. Looking at the Thor. Everybody likes the Marvel movies. Thor.
I do. I'm a big fan.
Thor is a god who comes to Earth and gets with an earthly woman. That's in the Bible. They call them the fallen ones.
Hey. Hidden gems.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm paying attention to all of this stuff. Like, so we idolizing the fallen ones. And his father, what is it, Zeus, does the same thing. And they go around and, you know, they have their little tips with women and all that. Wait a minute. The only ones I read in the Bible that said that was the fallen ones who created a race called the Nephilim. So I was like, wait a minute. So are they prepping us for something? Because they've been saying something a long time. And they claim to be the chosen. They claim it. They say, we the Hebrews. There's a book called The History of the North American Indian by James Adair. I have that book.
And y'all better get on it.
I saw the book was like $5,000. But I have the book.
Oh, okay.
And,
Reggie said,
but they have reprints. They have reprints now. They sell it.
Reggie said, before you go on, how do you feel about Professor X and Magneto and their apparent monitoring of MLK and Malcolm X?
Mirroring. So this is what they're doing. They take something. So Reggie, I'm gonna tie this into a bigger conversation that you have. The concept of who brings religion. Who brought Christianity? Who you think? I can answer it.
Answer it. Go ahead.
The answer is the Catholic Church brought it out. The Catholic Church took the Bible away when people had it Only rich people had it at first. Kept it away for 300 years and rewrote it and then released it. That's our concept of God. A lot of times how they come from that, right? Catholic Church took it and rewrote it.
Unbelievable.
So a lot of people don't understand who was also a major player in slavery. Catholic Church, same Catholic Church. So we get these concepts of who is who that's actually stolen from us and then repackaged and resold to us. So I was making a comment about Christianity because if you read the story of Jesus and you look at the hieroglyphics on the pyramids, that's pre-Jesus. That's pre-Christianity. And the story of Heru, Osiris, all of that is pre that. This man named Constantine saw it. He saw the Ankh and he made the cross. They took it from us. So now what you have right now in hip hop, you have these white rappers coming out who studied us, and now they can spit like us.
That's why, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to know the history. So after Elemental is in the building giving y'all some gems that are right in front of your face and you don't even know they're there. So while we're there, you know what I'm saying, let's keep it tied into the music. The title, the Elemental, how did you come up with that? And I want you to touch on the project that I know about where you're a podcaster on through our lens. And I want you to tell us about the program you have that you're opening up that's free to everybody in Harlem and all throughout the 5 boroughs and anywhere you're coming from, all you gotta do is get with them. So give us some of that.
So after Elemental is a breakdown. So I have this concept, MC squared. You know, you remember the term, but I'm like MC squared. Like be a higher level MC, right? Don't be just the average, right? Don't be the standard, because everybody told me that. Oh, why don't you just rhyme about this, man? You'll come out. Why don't you just rhyme about that? You'll come out. And I'm like, nah, because I'm saying something. One of the tracks on the album is, I'm trying to tell you something. One of the tracks is called that, right? I'm trying to say something. So Elemental is, I don't wear a second face. I'm not playing a character. If you break me down to my core elements, you're going to find exactly what I am right now. If you break me down to my core elements, to my core self,
don't wear a second
I'm
face.
the same person who's standing there talking to you. I'm not acting a role. I'm not playing a role. I'm not playing a character. This is me. I don't play characters. You know, now if I'm acting, that's different. But as an artist, I have a purpose. I know my purpose. I have a message. I know my message. And I know who I'm trying to reach, right? I'm trying to, so my idea is taking these young people and making them better versions of us. Because I don't think that's been done. I don't think that's been done on a mass scale. So a lot of times I've seen it in my life, when you have elders who either have influence or position, they don't share it. Right? They hold on to it and they're like, I'm going to be the heavyweight champ when I'm skin and bones on this throne. And I'm never going to give the belt up. No, you got to give the belt up to the fast, stronger, better young person and train him to be better than you. Right. That's my idea. So my idea, that's why I work with the Boy Scouts. This is why I work with certain groups. And I even had females come to the Boy Scouts, right? Because if I'm teaching males how to shoot, and they get shot and, you know, they have to defend their family, what is the female going to do? Stand around and cry? She got to be able to do the same thing he can do, right? And together, they're going to be a very strong team. Because we don't talk about that. It's like, it's this individual competition with everything now all of a sudden, right? But yeah, the concepts for me are, how do I reach young people and old? I had a line in one of my previous things I was saying, the generation gap was created. In fact, they use rap to block knowledge from young cats. This is like a previous album I did. So if you're not receiving the knowledge from the elders about the traps and the tricks,
you're gonna fall right now.
You're gonna fall for the same one. That's the thing, that's the term. So my program that I put together is, and I told you about it when you came. You want to learn film? Like people say, oh, go to film school. You want to learn audio? Just come to my Saturday program and join the team. And we're going to shoot videos and we're going to shoot video projects of the team members. And every team member is part of the crew, right? So if you come up with a concept for a video and say, I want to shoot this, that's the project. Take the money off the table.
Take the money
off the table because the problem with black people is we don't have no money, right? We don't have it. I've met people, oh, I need to record these songs. Just come to my house and we'll record the songs. That simple, right? Do whatever you want. I don't need to have my name on the copyright, nothing. I'm giving this to you.
That's
just
crazy.
Do it.
That's crazy.
My equipment collecting dust if I'm not using it, right? What's the point?
Right.
So I make money. I don't need to exploit a young person, especially if I know their heart is in the right place, right? So we don't have enough of that.
Yeah, we don't have enough.
We don't have enough people who are just going to say, listen, I got this, whatever it is, it's just collecting dust. Let me work with a young person or several young people.
Yeah.
And you know what I tell young people? I say, when I work with them and I help them get to a point, I said, maybe take me to dinner one time. You know, take me to dinner to say thank you. Or
that's a good trade-off.
Or find the next young person and do what I did for you.
Now that's the trade-off that really matters.
Powerful.
I love that. That's powerful. So what's the name of the program and where can they find it? I know it's almost every other Saturday.
Yeah, every other Saturday. So it's the name of the program is called That's Far Beyond Success Incorporated. That's my not-for-profit. But this is the film podcast audio program, right? So when I say audio, I'm a band engineer, right? So that means you got line arrays. I own all this stuff, right? So I could fly line arrays above for concerts outside, subwoofers, 32 channel mixer, mic all the instruments, mix the event.
You sure you're only one person?
Yeah, I am.
You sure?
I'm slowing down. I'm actually slowing down.
So you have to check his ID, man. I think you're like 20 people.
I'm slowing down now.
And you can find this all on his website, Earthquake
Entertainment, earthquake-ent.com.
Shout out to Bolo Uno. He's in the building.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to train my replacements. I'm being real. Yeah, for free.
Kai, you heard that?
Right? So I'm trying to train my replacements. So if somebody want to learn audio engineering,
I think he's bluffing.
No. I got a young man. His name is Terrell. I got two people I actually work with, but his name is Terrell. Terrell is my audio trainee. I pay him.
You pay.
I pay him. I pay Terrell, right?
I think you pay.
No. When I have a gig, I pay Terrell, and he's like the fresh eyes and ears, right? So as you get older, I'm not losing my hearing, but you get used to certain things.
Yeah.
I send him out and like what it sound like. He'd be like, the guitar's too loud. Okay, guitar. I pay him. Young people matter, right?
Young people matter.
And they have to have a stake in life. They have to have a stake. And this is why we're having a problem. Because they're like, yo, nobody's giving us a stake. Like, I want to make money too. Okay, come here. Let's do this. Boom. So I pay Terrell. I pay Patrick. Patrick was the video. He wasn't there the day you was there, but I brought him on after that. I actually mentored Patrick. I knew Patrick since he was 14 years old. Like he was a young man. I was mentoring him then. So now Patrick is my director of videography, right? So I pay him, and he's on it. Oh, let me just set the aperture right. Boom, boom. I don't have to tell you what to do. You know what to do, right? So I'm like, I want to get to a point where I get a gig, right? Get a paid gig. I take my little cut off the top. You got the keys to the storage room. I text you, you go, you get paid, you bring your own crew. That's what I want.
That's a future vision, ladies and gentlemen, and all the guys that's in tune. That's a future vision.
Yeah, we got to give the young people, we have to, our job is supposed to be knocking down these doors, right? So they can walk through it, right? So if we knock down the doors, I got connections, I got work, right? If I got that existing, why am I trying to make all of the money? I don't understand that. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's selfish to me. Like, I don't need to make all of the money, right? When I do musical arrangements, this is how I break it down. So you got songs like on the track. I have a producer, a co-producer, myself, a singer. Okay, divided by 3. That's the cut. That's simple. I'm not gonna say I came up with the song. I came up with this, the lyrics. No, 3 people's on the track, Divided by 3.
And I've been, I know you've probably been in situations like that in the studio too. And I've been in situations when people are
5%.
arguing, and I'm like, yo, it's 5 of us. Why we just going 5 ways, man? So I just want to say, man, it's great what you're doing, and I commend you. And that's why as soon as you started talking, I literally said right behind you, I need to have you on my show.
Yes.
On Behind the Enemy Lines. So I'm glad that you're here. Please continue to do what you're doing. Anybody that's serious about, wanting to learn more about the craft of engineering, audio, he's in so many different levels. And I learned that in school as well, that you don't just have to be behind the mic. There's a lot of different lanes, you know what I mean? And he's going to expose you to that and give you an opportunity to get paid too. So stop hiding back there. If you want to do this, stop hiding.
If they want my contacts, they got to contact you.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. But we're going to put it up there.
They're going to contact you.
So I got one more question. Then Kai, you can read this quote, because we got to talk about your album a little bit. You know what I mean? And we got to get that live again because it was on SoundCloud. Platinum Change.
Platinum Shackles.
Platinum Shackles. I apologize. I don't know why I had changed mine. Oh, the slavery got me thinking about change, not shackles. Platinum Shackles. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go to SoundCloud and play that. But we got to get that on all the platforms that's open right now, because this is how you're going to unloosen the shackles, ladies and gentlemen. So it's crazy that you got a title of that on your album, but I see you also giving people the keys to get out of them shackles. And as a gatekeeper, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Continue to give out those keys.
Yes, sir.
So you was an activist, you know what I'm saying? You went through a lot of things, I just want to ask one more question to tie it in. You have a song on there called Promise.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like you're living up to the promise that you set out when you started your journey through this?
Yes, that was actually the first song I made, because that set the tone. I promise I will not bow down to evil or be oppressed by it, and fight for the rights of the people. Help them overcome the stress of a fake life. I promise not to be impressed by slick talkers with forked tongues. They'll never be blessed. Got us all failing the test. I promise never to sell people addiction. When I speak, they listen. Put them in a better position. Promise not to use my talents for the wicked, the people who profit off the fact that we're afflicted. Through our ignorance and poor behavior, with the wisdom of a donkey, the wolf isn't going to save you. Let's get up and make something happen. I promise to make my career much more than rapping. Most of the music today is lost souls yapping, who can't see the sad consequence of their actions. Calling on the forces of good for the extraction. My mission's already complete, y'all. What's happening? I already escaped the trap, friend, and defeated the juggernaut with the Gatling. First we see it, then we do it. Societies, I can't remember the rest of it. You tell me going. You put me on.
But I feel you living up to that promise.
So that was my mantra for it. Like I was like, I'm gonna do this intro track first, and then everything has to be in agreement with this intro track.
That was dope. That was really.
So dope. I have like the tracks on the album. I gotta tell you about the people on it. I gotta tell you this right quick. I got TL Cross. He writes Usher songs right now. He wrote Bruno Mars songs. Okay, he's on the album, right? He wrote Music Soul Child stuff. He did stuff with Faith Evans. This guy is no joke. I got my man Day, who was in the video. He was the background singer for JT Taylor from Kool and the Gang. This man is a ridiculously talented artist. The co-producer on the album is Mr. Fingers, who co-produced almost everything on Murder Inc. Records. He did DMX's Platinum album, then there was X. He did Cannabis's album. He did Ja Rule's music. This is my friend, right? We have the same birthday. This is my friend. So as a matter of fact, on Sunday mornings, I go and I do sound for him at his church.
That's crazy.
Sunday mornings. That's the first thing. I'm going to Queens. Sunday mornings. This is my friend. So these people are not small fries in the industry. They know everybody, they connected to everybody. And when I had the rough of my album, they heard it and was like, yo, I want to be part of that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Kai, you got the quotes? Comments?
Yeah, Reggie said, this is refreshing to hear. My father taught myself and my siblings locksmithing and various other skills to not yet only help us in our futures, but also to help others. Reggie, you need to fix that sentence, Lil Reggie.
Not to be about the money. Yo, I agree. I agree.
My father always tells us it's not about the money. That's very true. It's not always about the money.
And with that in mind, we don't have money. Bartering is something that we do.
Right.
Right. So I work with people who was like, oh, they say I need to record something. I say, oh, I need a guitar. And it's like, hey, play guitar and you come to the house and record. Boom. Problem solved.
Yep.
I don't have to be on your copyright. Now I put them on mine because they play the guitar. Right. But I'm like, hey, I don't need any of that stuff. Just come. So
that's refreshing.
Having the resources. So my mentor, y'all think I'm doing a lot. This phenomenal man. He's still alive. I still talk to him. He took me at 11 when I didn't think I was gonna make it. I was at that point at 11, right? And I didn't tell him what happened to me. He just was like, hey, come with me. I'm gonna take you to the Boy Scouts. Come with me. I'm gonna show you how to wire electrical things in the house. And I was like, whoa, this is dope. This guy's showing me this stuff, you know? And later in life, we had stopped talking for a little bit. Later in life, I caught up with him. I said, yo, I want to give you your roses right now. I said, yo, you literally saved my life because I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is an ex Navy SEAL sniper, right? Ex-police officer, black man in the Bronx.
Bronx, baby.
From the Bronx.
We well represented.
This guy showed me this stuff. I said, you saved my life. He said, well, now that you're saying that, I got to ask you something. I got to ask you a question. I said, the answer is yes. He said, I didn't ask you the question. I said, don't matter. The answer is yes. He said, I need you to be a scoutmaster for this new troop I made. I said, I'm doing it because you did it for me.
Giving back.
And then I got an Eagle Scout out of that. I got several Life Scouts out of that, professionals out of that. There's a sense of gratitude that we need to instill. When somebody helps you, you have to be grateful and give that back.
And we try to do that. Me and Kaya definitely do that. And that's why I respect Kaya. I think Kaya started either last year or the year before, random sneaker giveaway in our projects. Yeah. You know, I do a cancer walk with my wife. Also, I do random giveaways. And we don't care about the budget. We just have to make it happen. Focus by Jamel said amazing. She also said 33 is perfect. 1/3 is a perfect split. So once again, I commend you. And we also in the process, me and Wiz, of, you know what I'm saying, getting back to mentoring, because I didn't have that coming up, you know what I'm saying, until I started playing football. But that mentoring thing is very big, especially for us men. So once again, I want to commend you on keeping your promise. Make sure you continue to go out there and check out Platinum Shackles. It's definitely dope. Y'all got to get with him every other Saturday. The Elemental. That's all you got to put in and it'll pop up. You know, he's got everything everywhere. So you guys can get in touch with him. Hit me, the gatekeeper. And we're gonna keep this show rolling. So ladies and gentlemen, you know the lines is open.
Before you go any further, I got a question for the
sure,
brother, man. Because he's dropping jewels today, man. He's sending light to the people. And I'm sitting back here, man, and I realize that we have a similar story, you know. But my question to you is, you spoke of the elders, man. How do we gather the elders together, right, to a point where they start sharing that message and giving back everything that we received as we came up?
So that's a challenge. I'm going to say that's a challenge because you have a lot of elders with knowledge who are feeling disgruntled for various reasons. They was resisted by their peer group, right? It happened to me, right? People in my peer group kind of ostracize or close doors, right? Because you're not supposed to be telling people this stuff, right? This is what I faced. But the elders, this is what I do. I have one of my songs that I talk about from a previous project where we have to encourage this transfer of knowledge from the young to the old, right? Not we're trying to take from the old, not that we're trying to replace them, because that's their worry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Their worry is if I show you how to do this thing, then you're going to compete against me. Rather than if I show you how to do this thing and you're in the same line of business, maybe I can fall back from the business and take a smaller cut, but have more people doing it. Right? So if you say I take 15%, I take 15%, you take 85. Right?
Right.
That's the rental fee for the equipment. Right?
Right.
So it's the concept of, you know, because we've been through a lot as a people. We've been through a lot, and through slavery, through the beatings, that's conditioning. So that's human training. They train you like a computer. You are trained to respond to certain things. I'm speaking from knowledge because my parents beat me a hell of a lot, right? A lot.
Tell me about it.
And it trained me to be a certain way, right? I'm a martial artist, everything. It trained me to be a certain way. So how do you untrain yourself, right? Because, one of the things slavery taught us is we can't unite. That's what it was teaching us. Don't get together and try to do anything because we're going to do this to you. And then make an example. So that's ingrained in a lot of elders' minds. And then sometimes when you have a lot of knowledge, you think it's about you, and it's not.
That's big right there.
So this thing is not about me. I'm grateful to sit here and get the accolades, but it's not about that. Right? It's about my people need this. How do they get it? Okay, I sat down and put some time to it and said, okay, this is a way. How do I get this to the people? You don't gotta come pay me to get it. Just get it. I'm very confident. I want to see the day where we know who we are, we act accordingly. There is mutual respect between the men and women. There's no oppression between the men and women, right? And we are the beings we were meant to be, the higher level beings, because we have been brought down because of the experiences. When you beat somebody and you rape somebody and you kill their family members in front, you're bringing them down from a higher plane. That's why they did it. It's a science to slavery.
Right.
Trauma can help you reprogram a human being. That's what it does. That's a tool to reprogram a human being. So once you know about the trauma and you say, okay, they reprogrammed me to be this way. I know they reprogrammed me. Now I have to undo that. So portion of my life was that. How do I untrain myself to think that everybody's trying to get me? To think that my brother is going to stab me in the back? To think that, because that's what slavery taught us, right? How to allow myself to love somebody. That's not a small conversation. That's a big conversation. How to allow myself to love me. I had to allow myself to be that way through deprogramming. Because there was a period where I didn't love myself.
Right.
That's what slavery does. Right. So when you hear white people say, "Oh, slavery was back in the past," no, it took your love. I have a line in the last song of the album is called "I'm Not Your Enemy." It's the man talking to the woman and the woman talking to the man, and he said, "I lost my love the same time you lost yours." That's what I said in the last song. So you lost your love through the slavery and the way the slave master treated you, and when I saw that happen, I lost mine.
That's mean. And y'all know where y'all can hear more topics like that on their YouTube podcast called Through Our Lens, and tell them where they can find that.
That's on YouTube. Just look under Earthquake Entertainment. I have an Earthquake Entertainment channel. It's Through Our Lens. Through Our Lens it's a partnership, right? Dominic, myself, and Abdul Mupti, right? Abdul Mupti came up with the name. Dominic is the person who could diagnose and break down actions. So everybody brings something different to the table. Abdul Mufti has traveled the world. He's a world traveler. And I knew him since he was a baby. And I come with my avenue. And we don't all come to the same conclusion, right? We all don't agree. But we can agree to sit down and have a conversation about it.
Amen.
And that's why I love it. So Through Our Lens, so the concept of Through Our Lens is 3 Black men get together and make a decision to work together to talk about the things that you don't really hear, right? That's uncomfortable for us to talk about. But we need to talk about it because the problems will not get solved if you keep sweeping them under the rug.
Yeah. I was on episode 10, so make sure y'all check me out. It
was life coaches.
Yes.
Great.
So we're going into the wild card segment right now. When the wild card is when we talk about something that, everybody else may not want to talk about. We're going to get back to reading some comments right after we get our little wild card music on for a second.
That's what's up.
Do. Hope y'all enjoy that.
Oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is nice to not have to be at the board.
So welcome to the wild card segment, ladies and gentlemen, behind the enemy lines. And the wild card shark segment is open to anybody in the chat room. If you want to call in and give a wild card segment, feel free to do that. 347-708-0216 is the number. We're gonna read some of the comments real quick, and then we're gonna talk about a wild card topic. But before we switch to the wild card topic, I like the way that Al asked you that question for the elders. How can they change and saying get back to giving back. But I'm gonna ask Kaya now because we kind of next in line. How do you see us, as now stepping up to another level, being the ones to give back, and looking at the elders, how can they now or how can we do things a little bit different and make sure we stay connected and grounded?
I think it takes patience as well as consistency because I work with high school age boys too. So it's like sometimes I'm yelling at them and stuff. I coach baseball, so I'm yelling at them and stuff, and it's just like, why don't y'all get it? And then it's like they're high school age boys, they're not men yet. And I'm sitting here, I just had to think, and I was like, yo, I don't think I hit my aha moment till I was like 25. And it's like that's when you stop feeling invincible and start realizing like this life you really only get one. And you need to pay attention to what everybody else had to say that came here before you. They might be trying to tell you some lies if they're trying to swindle you or something like that. But for the most part, 97% of the things you hear is just for your betterment.
Right.
So it's like you got to realize that you have to be able to digest that information freely, right? And when it comes to us passing it down, we have to be consistent on being patient with the kids.
Right.
Because you can't force it down. They're not going to want to take it. So just I'm here whenever you're ready, but when they ready, we got to still be ready for them.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was dope. When I heard Al ask you that question, that's what stuck out of my head was consistency. Because I would like to see the elders consistently be back, and whether you benefiting or not, and just to see you continue to keep trying, even with us. Because I still don't know when my aha moment hit me. I kind of felt like it was when I had my first daughter, things became more real to me, but I was only 17 years old. You know what I mean? So then I felt like I had another one when I was about 25 and, football didn't work out. It was like, what's next? And I think when I met you, now I'm saying I know when I met you and you started talking about all the different things that you were giving back and all the different things that you was a part of, just seeing that continued growth. And I forgot whether it was a life coach or just being around people when they said, never be afraid to give back knowledge.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, well, what are you holding on to it for? So sometimes I be having the most randomest conversations with the most randomest people on, on the bus or wherever I'm walking, and I be like, oh, I heard this. This must have been for them, and I'll just say it, even if they don't understand it. So I would like to see from the elders consistency. You know what I mean? It is good to hear from your point of view though that how they are conditioned.
Right.
Because once again, this is still my first time hearing it. Even though we heard about slavery and things about that when we was coming up in school, still hearing it from a live person that went through it is a little bit different from reading it in the book.
Right.
It's a little bit different. So it wasn't just about giving you the acolytes when you came here, but it was about that opportunity to receive the information. You know what I mean? Because I got to receive it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to feel selfish and not share with everybody else so they can have the same opportunities. Because I feel like that is important. And behind the enemy lines, that's what I want to give back to the men, a fair opportunity. So now what you do with it is up to you.
Right.
But you can't say I didn't know because we told you right here.
I want to say this about because you was talking about the the coaching and everything, and the thing that I see between generations is there are two dynamics at play. You have the olders and you have the youngers, right? And sometimes you're gonna have like in your situation, you're trying to get them to understand something, right? You're trying to get them to take this thing, and you might get frustrated. You might yell, or they get that at home, right? So they have a reaction to yelling that their brain just turn off.
Oh,
right, automatic. And the elders sometimes fear the youngers, not yourself, but I'm talking olders. They fear the youngers because they fear being replaced. So one thing that Black people have this fear, we've been made insignificant somehow, right? Through the experiences. So elders, that bothers them more. If they feel like they're insignificant, well, this young kid knows everything. I have no place no more, right? So when you're able to communicate that, like I did this as an exercise with one problem young man, and I said, I am not here to hurt you. I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you an opportunity that you can go further than I did. And then I gave him a hug, and then he started crying. But I'm not coming at you like I'm the boss. I know what I'm doing. Because some of the young kids looking at us, and they like sometimes they don't know what they're doing. They think that already. They don't know what they're doing. They can't see what I see. And sometimes they're right, because some of us are caught up. So one exercise that I do with my own children, I never raise my voice to my children ever.
I'm not good at that yet.
I don't do it. I don't do it because I came up through that.
I tried not to, but it's hard.
So I came up through it. So they have the right to debate because they might see something from a perspective that I have not seen. I'm not them.
Right.
And I'm not in their time receiving in real time the information that they're receiving. So if they say something to me, I have to listen, and I practice active listening. And I say back to them, so you said this, that, and the third, and I think that means that. And I'll say, am I right? And they'll be like, oh, no, you're a little off with this. Their opinion matters to me. So I'm like, am I right? Oh no, okay. So now what you said, is that right? Yeah, okay. Now we could talk about it. And then there's another thing I do with them. If they're gonna give me bad news or something about something I may not approve or side with, that's kind of my problem.
Say that again.
If they give me something or say something to me that is bad news or something that I don't agree with, that's kind of my problem.
I need an example.
So I'm gonna give you. Well, I'm gonna make one up, right? Let's say they have any kind of preference, right? We talk about sexual preference.
Okay.
Right? I'm this. Okay. It's not for me to go off or criticize or go off on them because of their preference.
Yeah,
right?
but I think a lot of people have gotten to that point. Yeah,
but in my era, that wasn't
the
case.
I agree.
In my era, you was homeless the second you said it.
Yeah.
So these are the conversations. So if my children say something, they don't even agree with if they don't agree with my concept of religion, right, or my concept of faith, it's not for me to force it on them, right? If they say, Daddy, I don't believe this, that, and the third, and boom, 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 boom. Okay, well, what do you believe? If they say, well, I don't know, I'm figuring it out. Okay.
You figure it out. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
I can see that.
So, because a lot of times we think because they are children that we own them. That's not true.
No, I own you.
We were the vessel.
I got a kid in here listening.
Please say that again, please.
I know I own you. No.
A lot of times we think that
they
are children, since they are children, that we own them.
Yeah, I own you.
We are the stewards of them. But when they were born, they had ideas in their head already. Right? My job with my children is to find out what their idea is in their head and help them get there.
I agree.
That's my job. I'm not going to make them be me. I'm not going to make them be 2.0 version of me. I'm going to say, what is it that you like? I support I want to play soccer. I want to do this. My son is a gamer. Okay, what you need? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, how you going to make money? Okay, boom, boom, boom. You're going to set this Twitter. Okay, you need me to help you set it up? That's how I am. So a lot of times we take adults, parents, we overstep our bounds as authoritarians. We become authoritarians sometimes. I had authoritarian parents, right? You couldn't breathe a certain way. You couldn't look, like literally, I could not look my mother in the face.
Well,
that's a beating.
But there is a line that kids do cross. Now, I agree with you on certain extent because I went through this morning with my daughter. Literally, she's about to be 13, and you get to a point like usually around 10, it'd be good for me. Once they start going to school, you're gonna pick up behaviors from other people, which I don't mind. And I try to adapt because I work with adults with disabilities, so I'm usually very good at adapting and working. But with this younger generation, they do have a problem. I don't want to say a problem like that, but they don't want to act on direction. That's how I want to say it. So I get what you're saying. Okay, you got ideas because I'm super supportive with all my kids with whatever they want to do. I'm good at that. But there's things that we knew that we had to do that if our parents checked us about it, it was a problem. And even when I raise my voice, it's not around the first time, it's about the 500th time. You understand what I'm saying? When you say the same thing 500 times, Like we came up, we didn't like the ass whoopings. I got whooped a lot too. But you knew usually after the ass whooping, or before the ass whooping, if you got to that voice get to a certain meter, we wanted to reverse it. If we didn't reverse the voice, something else came with it. So sometimes I agree with the kids, but the mannerisms, they don't think that it sends a message because non-verbal actions are very big.
Right.
So when you're dragging your feet, when you're kicking this, when your lip is, all those things are triggers to parents as well.
Right. But it's a trigger because the behavior is not approved. You're not in control of it. So there's certain things you can't control. Right. A person's thought process, you can't control that.
Oh yeah, right.
You can't control that. Right. And the conversation with a young person is, why are you doing this? Like, and this is how I talk to my children. I'm like, I'm not trying to antagonize you. I don't understand. So I'm trying to understand why this is your response. Like, what does that mean? Like, and we'll go in. So I have the 5 whys.
How old are your kids again?
So my youngest just made 18.
Okay. See, that's the difference. See, the 5-year gap. And I know, ladies, we're gonna table this. We're gonna get back to this. But we're gonna get back to the because we gotta get to these topics.
Right.
But you see, at 18, at least your child is trying to have a dialect. At 12, when you ask the why,
you know
what
answer?
No, you know what they get right now?
What's they doing?
They just look at you. There's no feedback. There's no feedback. But we're gonna switch to another topic because we can continue this. We're gonna have him back for part 2 and 3. He's a friend to the show because there's so much it's so much good eating that we can't stop. But we're gonna get to this one topic. Do men stick with a female while they're trying to better themselves?
Wow, who's trying to better themselves?
The female.
I did.
Expand, please. So you're saying yes. And then
well, you should. Well, so here's the thing. It depends on the nature of that better yourself. Because in a relationship, there are things that are somewhat required to maintain the relationship, right? So, there's the companionship, now if somebody is saying to you, I got to concentrate on this and I can't think about you, there's no relationship. Right? So when someone's trying to better themselves, the extent of it matters. The extent meaning, do you table the relationship? Because that happens, right? Or are you supportive?
For those who don't understand table the relationship, can you explain that a little bit?
I mean, you're going to have to pause or break up, right? Because the person might be going in a different direction and they don't see you as going in that direction, or you don't see yourself, right? So I've been through, like I told you, I lived a full life, right? So, I mean, I'm young, I'm kind of young, but you know what I'm saying? I've been in a situation. I've been in a situation where I was the breadwinner of the house for a long time, and then I got injured on the job, like it was severe, and my wife had to step up, right? But when we first got married, I worked while she went through nursing school. I have no desire to be a nurse, right? None. And I knew, not thinking like, oh, just going to be investment. When you're in a relationship, each person has to have their individuality and then you combine. So you can't say, oh, I'm the husband, beat my chest like King Kong, and you're going to do this. It came all the way back from there. What is your dream? What do you want to do? Oh, I'm going to go to nursing school. Okay, so she goes to nursing school, right? That saved us. That made a good. That was a good decision. My wife recently became a business owner now, so she opened her LLC. I told her how to do it. She opened it up, and she spends a lot of time in it. It's beautiful to me to see the passion in her business, right? Now, that means she's spending less time with me, but that's not a problem because I know what she's doing and it's good for her and it's good for the family, right? So she's bettering herself. It's not an issue with her bettering herself. The issue becomes when jealousy comes. So
how
if you
soon
start,
does jealousy come?
Jealousy can come because a person, like I said, sometimes like we think we own people. So I told my wife, the only person you could control in a relationship is yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it, right? if you can't trust a person, or if you can't believe that this person is going to do the right thing, then you need to make a decision as to why it is, if you're going to stay with that person, right? Sometimes it could be all in your head, or sometimes it could be from observations that you make. So before you make the decision, you're going to have a conversation. You're going to be like, this is what I see, this is what I perceive, and the person's going to be like, well, you're wrong on that, you're right on that, whatever the case may be. But communication. But if a person's trying to better themselves, and I feel this for fellas, men should be more supportive. I was just on a Zoom with a women's empowerment group who does politics, and super talented, they PhDs and everything, and they face so much resistance, not just from women and white people, but from men, right? What are we afraid of if a woman is trying to be successful or trying to be educated? Are we thinking they're gonna feel like they don't need us? Like, so these are again slavery insecurities, right? I would and I welcome this. I told my wife, hey, you want to learn something I don't know? Hey, that makes me better. Because now you know, and I know this, and we could combine the Wonder Twins, and now we can make.
See, I don't know, understand that commercial. Super Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah.
So you gotta be in tune to know that.
So we gotta kind of complement each other, right? She provide one temperament, I provide the other temperament. We come together and we super. So we're not in competition with each other. And that's the whole point. We're not trying to one up each other. We could encourage each other to do stuff. She told me just was yesterday. She was like, "It's been a hard road for your master's degree. I'm super proud of you."
Congrats.
And I was like, "Thank you." So it's always good. I feel like just like Tyra, she said, learn from each other. Men, we could learn a whole lot from women if we just shut up sometimes, right? We just shut up and listen. Because they provide a certain insight. My wife, before I make any certain business moves, I bounce off her. Because she sees it from an angle I can't see it. And she said, well, did you think about that? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Okay, thank you. So she's I consult with her on certain things and she consults with me on things, right? This is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, so a relationship, there's equality. Now we say men and women, they say men and women are equal, there's differences, right? But as a whole, there's equality. That means I respect you and you respect me, and we come together to make this work. It's a decision to make it work, but it's equality in a decision. It's not, I'm going to stand here and dominate you. That's
caveman mentality.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Kaya, how you feel about that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do men stick with females while they're trying to better themselves?
I think you should, right? But to a point, I feel like there's definitely a fine line between sticking out with somebody who's trying to better themselves and somebody who's only trying to better themselves when things are down. You know what I mean? Like, it's continuous work, it's the consistency. So it's like say you need your emotions is all over, right? And you need some kind of counseling, and you realize you get to the step where you need some counseling, and you only go to counseling on the days you feel down. I need you to go when you're feeling good too, so you can get the tools to keep on, and let's do some preventative work. And if you're not working and trying to prevent, and you're just trying to put the Band-Aid on the wound every time, I don't think I should stay.
Right.
I think you should definitely, the healing process, you got to totally heal for us to keep going. I'm not gonna, but if I see you making the efforts properly, of course, I'm right there. I'm gonna be your biggest cheerleader. I'm gonna pick up the extra slack. I know you having a bad day. I'm gonna pick up the extra slack, do what I gotta do. But if you are not trying to completely commit to it, then I'm out.
And ladies and gentlemen, we in tune to the pressure check. You know what I mean? So we're gonna call our first guest while I give my answer. So we can dial up the first guest. We're gonna call Kai. We'll call the second one on the list, Al, for the pressure check. And during the pressure check, we randomly call somebody that's in our Rolodex, and we ask them how they feel about the topic that we bringing on. And the reason why I brought up this topic is because I heard two people debating, and it was like, you know what? Whenever you hear a guy make it, he always say, yo, thanks to my girl for standing by me through the hard times, X, Y, Z. You never hear a guy say, thanks to my shorty, or never hear a girl say, well, I made it thanks to my guy sticking behind me, X, Y, Z. But the numbers say, it's like, I was reading a couple things while I was getting ready for it. The rise of stay-home dads, you know what I'm saying, in the Forbes list in 2022, 2.1 million, you know what I'm saying, 8% uprise since 1989. You know what I mean? So even though it's not being said, I think there's a lot of guys that are standing behind that woman while they're transitioning and becoming. And case in point, you know, if your girl was a rapper, you know what I'm saying, do you stick by her while she's rapping, even if you're not the main attraction? Or how hard is it for a guy to do that? And does it play mind tricks on them while this is happening?
Well, my wife she's retired now, but she was a professional West African dancer for a famous dance company called Forces of Nature for 20 something years. That means she's on stage, she's performing, she's going to Africa, she's going on tour, she's doing all of this stuff. And it's great, in my opinion. It's great to have somebody she's in the limelight, as she was at the time. She was in the limelight, and I went to every show, right? I picked her up from rehearsal, right? Whenever she was in the city, I go pick her up, right? And we talk about what happened for the day. It's exciting. It's something else to talk about other than, you know, oh, I went to work and blah, 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 blah. It's more exciting than that. So to be with a person in entertainment who had a full career of it, it was great for me. It was great for me. I loved it. So I don't know what somebody may have if somebody's a rapper. I would say that's a little trickier, because I know the way women have been how would I say, portrayed in the hip hop industry.
Yeah.
And you have and the person is a rapper, and then she got to shoot a video. And in the video, they want to put her in some clothes that she might not know that. And then she got a male cohort in the video. That's different. That's a different.
But I think a lot of guys stick out. You ready for the number? You can just hit it. We'll switch off. I think a lot. Do women just not say that? You know, there's a lot of guys that's still sticking there with them going through that change of profession.
And the rap thing, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that the women get the respect in the rap.
Call her on the line. This is Belinda Anderson's baby boy.
Welcome, Aunt Diggity, to Behind Enemy Lines. You're live with me. You know what I'm saying? Gatekeeper, After Elemental, and Kaya NYC. We got a question for you. I'm gonna have Kaya ask you.
So the question is, I know I'm about to butcher this a little bit.
You want me to help you so you don't butcher it?
Yes, please, sir.
All right. So the question is, we here talking about, you know, professions and do men stick around when females are trying to better themselves in a relationship? Have you ever been a guy that stuck around in a relationship while she was transitioning? Or, you know, what's your take on that? Do guys stick around? They think we just be out whenever we ain't happy.
What you mean, like turning a hoe into a housewife?
I mean, yeah, can you? If that's how you feel, yes, I believe that can happen. I believe you can turn a hoe into a housewife. What's wrong with that?
you got to move out of state.
Nah.
What you mean?
Not for nothing. The heart wants what the heart wants.
Right.
So if you really feeling the chick, there might be some things that she do that you put up with, right? You know what I'm saying? And if you in it, if your mindset is in it for the long term, you know what I'm saying? You'll stick it out. You'll stick it out. But if it's causing you like mental and physically you breaking down and stuff like that.
Well, you know, I think you're on the right path with that, because I also read in another article where they talk about the reason why men stay: physical attraction, sexual compatibility, empathy, and emotional connection. But I think you got to have something different to stick there while they're going through their transition. I've been one of the guys that I've had a partner to stick with me while I was transitioning. I had about 15 different careers, and I'm still working. You know what I'm saying? And then I've also stuck around with them while they was evolving their career, coming home, being the guy that cooks. And I know a couple friends, and I want to thank you for the call, and we're going to shout out your clothing line and everything you're doing with your music before the show is over. I thank you for being on our pressure check. and we're gonna get back with you. I hope you're enjoying the show. I've been in those situations where I've seen brothers, you know what I'm saying, not get credit for being stay-at-home dads, for being guys that's waiting because, you know, women are now making more than guys and taking higher positions. And they're taking the levels and being supportive. You know, 2.1 million is a lot. 8% is a big jump. You know what I mean? So for you know certain women to be debating and say, "Oh, guys don't do this." Yes, we do.
So I could say that I was the more active, engaged parent with the children, right? Partially because my parents didn't do it for me, so I wanted to know what it was, right? And like I cut their umbilical cords when they were born. We had doulas, right? I cut the umbilical cord. They held my finger when he was born. I taught them their ABCs. I taught them how to count. I took them to school. I was that parent teacher. I mean, this is from my son and my two daughters. I was constantly the person there, and I wanted it, right? I wanted it. So it's not like, did I feel like I was forced? I told you my wife was a performer, but that made my day. Like if I say, okay, I'm going to take my son to the school bus, right?
Yeah,
that made my day
because my wife still goes crazy. Hold your thought, because my wife still goes crazy because I sometimes I'm late for work in the morning just so I can take my daughter to school. And she's like, she can walk, but it's something about that. And I just wanted to touch that before. It's just there's something about that I enjoy.
It has meaning, like it has meaning to it because it's like sometimes for me it was like I was breaking a cycle, right? I was breaking a chain by doing it because my parents were not involved in my life. I didn't start school to the seventh grade.
We gotta get back. We're gonna
have a conversation.
Al, you can dial up the second number for me. Al.
So I didn't have the childhood that everybody else had. So I was like, what does it mean to go to kindergarten? What does it? So I had to see my children do it to know what it meant. I had to tell my children I loved them to know what that meant. So my children got to get everything that I didn't get. Right. So me being there and teaching them his ABCs and his 1, 2, 3s and all that, that was something big.
That's us. Caller, you're live on Behind the Enemy Lines. Is this D?
It's D.
What's going on, D? We just sitting here conversating. I just want to get your view. I mean, we can't just have, you know, the guy's view. Right. We got to get a lady's view. You know what I mean? So you're live on Behind. We're live on Behind Enemy Lines. Gatekeeper. We got After Elemental in the building. My brother Kaya NYC. And we just wanted to know, you know, do you feel that men stick around while females are trying to better themselves?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a smaller 5% that don't, because they bum.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Men out here, they actually they stick around they women because they want to see her elevate. The whole purpose of that is to help them get to the next level. So I'm winning, you going, but if you're by my side, you going to win right along with me, and vice versa. So why would you not want to stick around?
See, that's what I'm saying, because you know I heard a debate and they was just going hard on the fellas like we're not capable and we're not doing. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, D, for calling in and let me call you and being on my pressure check. You know, because I don't want them to think I was being biased. No, I appreciate you. You know, I ain't want them to think we just been biased up here, guys just picking our opinion. You know what I mean? Thank you for letting us know it was only 5%.
Yeah, it's a real small percent of bums. You know, that's out there. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, she in school, she do this. But the men that are out there, the men, they stick beside their women because of the fact that they see where she gonna go, and their job is gonna help them. You know, they want to stick by them to help them get to the other side.
Yes, and I think that's key, and we definitely want to pass down to our young gentlemen that we talking about now, watching the elders. You know what I'm saying? Hoping they get back in the game more, and us being the next ones at the throne. Because we dropped the ball a little bit here and there, and that's the purpose of Behind Enemy Lines, is to now start reaching out to these kids and letting them know. Like I said, it's different levels, but it's important to be just as supportive to your partner if y'all in a real relationship. We're not talking about the drive-by relationship, a real relationship. You know what I mean? And even when you're in the drive-by, if it's something good, because you know, Aunt Digger, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Destiny, I mean, D, how you feel about that? Can you turn a hoe into a housewife? Gotta ask a woman.
I feel like this. I feel like that's a 50-50. Feeling real 50-50.
Can I throw a twist in that?
Throw a twist.
Can you turn a male hoe into a husband?
Oh.
See, no.
What? Why not? We can change.
Preposterous.
Fire. This is preposterous.
From my let me say this from my experience.
Okay.
From what I've experienced, all of the dudes that was like, and I didn't know that they was a hoe until after the fact. It doesn't matter. Like, no matter how much you do, no matter how much you you know what I'm saying, no matter what my efforts was, he still was gonna do what he wanted to. He was still gonna be who he was.
Wow.
Like his mama hurt him. Like, he's still healing from past trauma. I ain't got time. So he got his own thing going on. So they never really changed for real.
Beyond me, we can change. I want to thank you for being on the Pressure
My mama
Check,
ain't hurt me, D. I'm good.
How you said the right word? You can change. I can change. We can change. I hope you're enjoying the show, and I thank you again, man. That's
no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate it. Well, that's our Pressure Checkpoint, man, and I want to thank everybody that actually contributed. Right now, we're going to Chucky's Cut. And Kai, can you tell them why we do Chucky's Cut?
Chucky's Cut is when
we turn strangers in the family.
There we go. I'm about to say friends in the family, but I knew that was wrong.
Friends in the family is a plan. So this is our segment we give to independent artists. You know, to get a chance to send in your MP3s and late. Yes? Oh, you still here? Oh, we hear voice. You've been speaking the Lord.
That's the I-Access Duppy. If you don't know what a Duppy is, it's Jamaican Ghost.
The Jamaican Ghost.
Something real fast, funny, right? Yeah. So, you know, I'm from uptown, so there's nothing but Jamaicans uptown, right? So the first time I heard the word Duppy, I'm like, Duppy sound like Guppy. I'm like, y'all making fish?
No, they not making fish.
Oh, snap.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to get your voters on. We got S-Rock. He's gonna be the artist right now. The name of the song is All Night Long. To be able to vote, you go to crowd.live, and we have the code as H as in Harry, Z as in Zebra, number 9N5. So Chucky's Cut, like I said, you get the vote to keep or kill it. And if anybody that makes the cut, they're going to be on Behind the Enemy Lines mixtape that we're working on, and we just releasing it just for the heck of it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to both of y'all. Y'all already on the cut. Y'all made Chucky cut. Chucky bodied the last one. The last one that made the cut.
No.
You know what I mean? They made the cut. So don't just think you coming up here making the cut, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta earn the right. All right. So tune in right now. You can scan the code, go to crowd.live, and let's hear what we got going on. S-Rock, let's go.
What's the part y'all gonna like right here though? Vibe, yeah, check. Look, baby, listen. I'm on a mission trying to see it. So what we doing? Cause your boy right here ain't trying to leave it. Unturn you the stone that I'm gonna catch. I like my jewels, but that gym is a no threat. From how you walking, I can tell what you blessed with. From how you talking, you just maybe had the best lips. We gon' find out. I'm pulling mine out. All the stops that'll help you blow your mind out. See if you with it, less talk and a little listen. But not the voices, the sounds, I ain't trying to miss it. You know, some ecstasy, your God gift is blessing me. I do it right after all this time you're next to me. A little sugar, a little drip, a little dip. I got the strokes that's prepared for a little swim. So alright, all night, you can test me. To the limit, keep pushing for the best me. I'm trying to get to you, show you something great. It's not a game, we can play, little mama, what you think? I'm trying to get to you, show you something great. It's not a game, we can play, little mama, what you think? Look, so what you thinking? I was here for a little minute. I came to play batter up till the night finish. And I think what you think, like it's all good. It's all good, I don't need a reason why I should. I'm here for it, no waiting for it, that's how I want it. You can flaunt it if you want to, but don't taunt it. I play the grab and fast, I'm never on either. Full energy, I swallow to the top speed. Make it shake and swerve around a curve. I slip and slide on that ride if the water serve. Nice and chill like a night of sipping cognac. Away and wild, no pitch, now toss the Kodak. You got that throwback, I catch it if you toss the bubble. Or make it pop when you drop like a tall muscle. It's the games we play, turn off the shot clock. And keep it lit and make it steam like a hot box. I'm trying to get to you, show you something great. It's not a game, we can play, little mama, what you think? I'm trying to get to you, show you something great. It's not a game, we can play, little mama, what you think?
It's rocky.
You got the mood bass. That's the West Coast. Yo, with that sample, you can never go wrong. So
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. It's a hit for me because I can just, you know what I'm saying, rewind it and keep on playing it. We're gonna do a crash course real quick, you know what I'm saying, before we get up out of here. Once again, for the ladies that people and gentlemen that want to vote, please go to crowd.live right now and put your vote in. You got the code HZ9N5. So since we had that song play real quick, we'll go from left to right, Kaya. Can you tell what type of person you're gonna have in a relationship if you listen to their playlist?
You know what? I'm gonna say no because my playlist is crazy. I've got this newfound love with country music. Like
Country music is lovely.
I was in the
like country music.
supermarket like,
I like
oh,
country
this
music.
is fire. Like
You gonna have
shout
these
out,
cowboy
like, yo,
boots
you
on.
know
I heard they're
what?
comfortable too.
And then like the stories they be telling, I'm like, yo, these dudes can really write songs. Like they write good songs.
But that's why country is so high up on the list. They have
Yeah,
really
they
good music.
what is this guy's name? I think James Walden.
Mhm.
James Walden right now is killing it. And I watch the Billboard charts every week. The top 50 and see how stuff. So I really watched it come from a new entry. Now it's the #1 song on the billboards. And it's like the song is well written, it's fire. But I think if you just look at my playlist, and this is gonna go from James Walden to Lil Wayne, I might have Beethoven on there. And you know what? I'm not that cultured, you know.
At the Elemental, what you think?
Nah, you can't tell somebody from their playlist. I mean, I got Tchaikovsky. I got
Tchaikovsky. I like that.
That's the strings. I'm a strings guy, so like in any of my songs you hear, you're gonna hear strings in it, right? I like strings, classical music, but I also like rock. I also like hip hop, old R&B, classic R&B, soul, blues. It's a story, like, and you have different playlists for different things. So I might have some amped up fight music when I'm working out. You know, I don't want somebody to think I'm just even some hip hop that just that get you just you know, so you can lift those weights, man.
Cardi
It's just
B.
what it is. That's not. I don't think that's amp music. Cardi B's for another mood. Cardi B for another mood, right? I'm not gonna be lifting the weights to Cardi B. I don't think so. But I'm gonna have, you know, our anthem songs, fight songs, whatever. But no, you can't tell. Like people, you could be any kind of person that have any kind of playlist, and that doesn't reflect you. That's just what you like to listen to. It doesn't really reflect your personality.
Shout out to Audrey Boy. She said, "Good evening,
Shout
bro."
out, Kat. What's up, Kat?
Emma Weatherspoon said, "Only when they are broke down, that's when they slow down." Okay, I guess she's talking about
when they need somewhere to live.
Carly said, "No, not really. I don't think. I think they're talking about the musical playlist."
Right.
Al, you got your mic on. What you think about listening to someone's playlist? You think you know what kind of partner they are? You can't tell how someone is by their playlist. My playlist is all over the place. Al, you got your mic on? What you think?
I'm like everybody else because I listen to everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing that is music that I don't listen to. So somebody could listen to my playlist and they'll think I was a psycho because I would go from like some 30s music, some jazz, some doo-wop, you name it, bebop. Then I go into some alternative country and western. Then I might go to some classical. Then I might even go to a movie score after that. You know, so it's whatever, you know, is on the playlist and whatever I'm feeling. But I just always been in love with music ever since I was a kid.
I can get with that. Now I'm gonna be devil's advocate because I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna start some trouble. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to think because y'all answered from y'all perspective. But now say you pick up the girl, you know what I'm saying, on y'all second week of dating. You know what I'm saying? And then you say, you know what, let's just listen to an hour. I want you to get a nice sample size of what I listen to for an hour and 45 minutes. And I'm not just talking about compartmentalizing, oh, this is my workout music. No. What you listen to 90% of your day could I listen to it and think about what's going on? So I'm gonna say yes for me. You know what I'm saying? Because my music tells a story, and I think listening to how y'all all talked about music, it tells me a little bit about y'all character, about that y'all well-rounded individuals. You're not afraid to step out your comfort zone, even though we're all started in hip hop. Look at you, you in the country world. You know what I'm saying? That, and I can see that with you, because even when we played football, you played any position that you was asked. You know what I'm saying? Because you wasn't afraid to step out the comfort zone. Strings, being a kid, coming from Harlem, I know you're gonna be strong, educated, black. You know what I'm saying? Unity. You know, so your music is telling that story. Same thing with Al. Now with me, you know, got a little Leaks Keys in there. You know what I'm saying? I got some Jaheim. I'm going through some things. If you can listen to my music and tell. You know what I'm saying? If I'm playing straight up DMX, get at me for 2 hours straight, it's gonna be some furniture moving. Like you gonna listen and be able to tell. Like he got a side that you might not want to get on that side. My music say a lot, man. I believe listening to somebody's music for an hour. If I hear Pink, you know what I'm saying, throw a brick through my car, you know what I'm saying? If I hear Keisha Cole, you always hurting, crying, you know what I'm saying? Somebody always breaking your heart. Mary J. Blige, way too much and no balance going on. You know, you're in there trying to do the big boot dance. I know what kind of partner I'm getting. It's gonna be something emotional, off the railness. Ladies, don't lie, y'all know it. If you listen to my joint, I got too many. Drop it like it's hot, dot, dot, dot. You gonna smell cheating. They know it. What y'all think, fellas? What y'all think?
Well,
and Vocal said if you are various genres, I would say you are a free spirit or living out like. That's what I'm saying. She right on point, right out the box.
But my thing is like, okay, but sometimes people have their different playlists. Like they have they playlist when they feeling bad, right? So if she's playing.
She feeling bad 90% of the time.
Bust the windows out your car.
90% of the time.
Maybe she just came out of a bad situation.
And then she gonna take it out on me. I'm out of there, Kaya. What? I'm out of there.
Yo, so I would say it depends on the time. You know, if you coming on the tail end of a bad relationship and she's playing all this music.
We've been dating for 3 months. I'll give you the 90-day rule. Dating for 3 months and she still want to bash somebody's windows out. What's going on?
See, but that's a song. People listen to songs because they're not gonna actually do it. Right, so
I agree with that.
Because they're not. So the song is like they get to yell without yelling, right? But they're not gonna actually do it. They just use the song.
I don't know. I beg to differ.
Past life or something because I ride around the young Jeezy and all this.
I said I beg to differ. If they're listening to the song too much, they might be looking at some pointers.
That's what I'm saying, Al.
This is how I'm gonna do it.
I don't feel safe, man. I don't feel safe, but I hear too much Keisha Cole playing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't feel safe.
Like, come on, man. I broke her heart again. What I done did this time?
I should have cheated.
What you trying to tell me? You out there? You working that block? Let me know what's going on.
Funny.
I think the playlist is very, very important, especially if it doesn't mature. So I like how y'all playlist matured, and I feel like mine's matured, and I definitely know like the artists that I go to, because it's crazy how you be in emotion, you know what I'm saying, throughout the day more than you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that playlist be very important to me. And I think it says a lot about an individual. You know what I mean? I don't want the one that's always sad, man.
Right.
Every 10 songs is sad.
What if her playlist got nothing but her ex music on it?
Then I know where her mind is at. I know what I gotta work on, and I gotta ask myself: do I want to put that type of work in? This is what we talk about.
My question is, on the whole scale of the relationship, what's the weight of the playlist? Like, it seems like the playlist is making a decision.
Because you know, listen. If you do certain things, they go to that song. You in trouble, man. You in trouble. You gotta know if you don't even need to come home tonight. She playing that. You heard my girl drive by, and she start playing the new Scarlet. You don't go home. What the fuck? I look like saying good morning. Whoa.
That's bad. That's rough.
It's rough.
Wow.
So I just want to say once again, thank y'all for coming out to Behind Enemy Lines. I am Gatekeeper. We're gonna be back every other Saturday. We got new shows lined up, so make sure y'all get in tune. You got After Elemental. Tell them where they can find you again.
You can find me on YouTube on the Earthquake Entertainment. You can find me on Facebook. You can Earthquake-ENT for Instagram. And you can find me on SoundCloud. You want to check out the album. You can buy my album direct from me from my website, earthquake-ent.com. And just find me on the internet. You know,
Platinum Shackles is the name of the album. Like I said, you need that balance in life. You know what I'm saying? KRS-One, Black Thought. You know what I'm saying? If you down to think for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like for a minute, and we need that. Like, you know, if you go to the playlist. You just hear all popping bottles. Don't get mad when I'm borrowing money from you. You know what I want to do. I'm trying to pop bottles. You know, I'm trying to live the life. I'm out. I'm outside. We out here. You know what I'm saying? So after Elemental is giving some balance, she's also giving back to the kids in the communities of all ages. If you want to learn how to do any type of audio engineering / videography, podcasting through our Lenses There podcast on YouTube. Make sure y'all check that out. And they can all reach you at your contacts that we have that we'll put up. Kaya NYC, tell them what you got going on. I appreciate you for coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for having me.
You might have to try to find ways, or we
we
might just replace them. You know what I'm saying?
This is definitely the last show. I was like, yo, if I could come back and do this again, let me know. So when you hit me up like a co-host, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll be there. No matter what day, what I'm doing, I'm here. So thank you for the opportunity. Right now, yesterday I was in the studio. I mixed 2 songs for the summer. So I at least have 2 songs coming out within like the next month and a half. I'm working on trying to get the visuals together for that. So yeah, we just working, man.
And I want to shout out everybody that's supporting Better Green Entertainment. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all check out Our Access Radio on everything, all the shows from Monday to Sunday. We got Tug of War coming back June 3rd. So make sure y'all check out King of Paddles and Monte the God. Dope show, dope individuals. And listen, there's no limit to what we do. Shout out to Al and everybody else doing all big things at ouraccessradio.com. Peace.
Peace.
Been underestimated for a long time. Been waiting my turn on this long line. This ain't no luck, this is so grind. Y'all don't see me shining, then you're all blind.
They all hate, they all fake, they can't take it. They all fake, they just hate, they ain't make it.
Taking all these shots like I'm Kobe. Good love, now she acting like she know me. A good fuck like caffeine in the morning. Fast life, but tonight I'm moving slowly. Cause I'm too late, I'm too late, I'm too late. Came in alone, leaving with a 10. Spotlight on the ground, rolling with a Benz. Chauffeur around town, fun never end. I'm a dog, but the pedigree different. Meet me outside and let's slide. Space for your best friend to ride. Heaven sent, I'm forever bent. Brush him off like extra lint. Keep away like forever lint. Favorite fat nigga can't help to be an ex-veteran.
They all hate, they all fake, they can't take it. They all fake, they just hate, they ain't make it. They all hate, they all fake, they can't take it. They all fake, they just hate, they ain't make it.
Gave me purpose, found out it was worthless. With no purpose, life feel like it's worthless. When trapping out, all that work seemed worthless. The shaking ass, not all this work is worthless. I'm riding on the line, it's so curses. I'm addicted to the up and down, up and down. I swear so much, call me circus. Too mature to be skewed by you fucking clowns. Deuce ain't the beauty and the beast. Taking out whatever, not heard by the meat. Broad and Gerard, got love like me. Drive long enough to meet Mount Airy. New box got me sitting in my caja. Spanish mommy trying to teach me how to habla. Leave the club, headed to the Baja. Body party, oh yeah, for some nana.
They all hate, they all fake, they can't take it. They all fake, they just hate, they ain't make it. They all hate, they all fake, they can't take it. They all fake, they just hate, they ain't make it.